Hello, beautiful mamas. As a working mom, sometimes I can really feel scattered, unorganized, or simply just rushing from one thing to another and all over the place. Finding time for myself and finding my sanity can almost feel like an impossible dream. Can you relate? Well, this is why I have created my free Mama's Guide to Creating Balance and Harmony as my gift to you. This guide contains my top 10 tips to creating balance and harmony in your life, as well as 3 beautiful trackers to help you get onto your journey in a fun and simple way. I have found by incorporating daily self-care routines and practices in my life for as little as 5 minutes a day, I am feeling more grounded, centered, and calm. By me tapping into my best version through these practices, I am also a better mom, a better partner, and a better colleague. Well, really, just a better human being in all the ways. So, if this sounds like something that you would like to explore, click on the link in the show notes below and download your free guide today. We were all born with the innate power of knowing and wisdom within us. The challenge for many of us is that we were taught to seek answers externally instead of searching from within. And this is the reason why so many of us find ourselves going around in circles, searching for new ways, but could never find the way. The womanly way. It's not the way. It's not my way. But it is a pathway to support all of us returning back to self, reconnect with our inner wisdom through loving ourselves, knowing ourselves, and reconnecting with ourselves.
Tell me and be honest. Tell me should I've known.
So we can start to find our own way as modern day women. Are you interested? Well, sit back, relax, and welcome to this amazing journey. Hello. Welcome to this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. I am your host, Lala Angela Wang. Happy June. I was going to say happy 1st of June, but today's actually the 3rd of June. If you are in the Southern Hemisphere, we're officially into winter. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you're officially into summer. Yay. Actually, since stepping into my spiritual journey, I'm actually loving winter more and more. Winter really is the month or the season of reconnecting with your root, resting, rejuvenating, just a lot of the things to do with our inner plane, which I never used to love. I used to dread a lot. But now, as I'm tapping more and more into my feminine, I'm loving this more and more. And it's really interesting. Today, I want to talk about personal branding, authentic leadership, all the things that I'm seeing on the social and all the things I'm also thinking, it's a bit cringy on what I see on the online world. And I want to share my thoughts about why I think now more than ever, we need to focus on our authentic personal branding and really, truly dial down to what your own innate authenticness really is. And I've started this new tradition, right? Pulling a card at the start of each podcast show. I've decided to use a different deck of cards today. I have got my Tarot of the Sorceress today. For those of you online, you can see it's so beautiful. A set of really beautiful cards. Like that's the back of all the cards. And I pulled out the cards, the Queen of Earth. So it's slightly different than your traditional tarot. They're replacing it with the element rather than, normally you will have like the coin, the sword, the wand, and the cup. So the Queen of Earth, it's so beautiful. Everything's got a little bit of gold to it as well. It's got is it a deer? And then a queen, obviously, that's very connected to her animal, to her earth. So the meanings are slightly different than your traditional cards as well. So I'm just going to read it out of a book. And if you want to see additional expansions I have after the show, feel free to go onto my Instagram where I'll post a card and then any information, any additional download on the reading as well. So Queen of Earth, the animal is actually a deer. The keyword centered on the home, materialistic, looking for comfort and security. And I pulled it upright. So there's no, it's not a reverse card. And it's really fitting being that we're now in winter, because really the winter months are focusing more in the home, right? We're probably more focused in the comfort and security. But also it's really, really linked to what I'm about to talk about, to comfort and security. Home of our spirituality, home of our truest essence. And here's the explanation. Like any queen, the Queen of Earth is grounded in her element, almost blending in with it. The deer is an animal of majesty, of earth, and of the forest, attracting abundance and knowledge. The Queen of Earth is grounded in her home in material comfort that she is not ready to give up. She is the manager, the accountant, and the builder. Interesting, builder. She is the mother, the one who occupies the inner home hidden from the world. She can also cling to her comfort zone, resisting change that can sometimes come into her life, even if it represents an opportunity. So this is a card of asking us to go within. But this is also a card that says, hey, just be mindful. You've got these human needs. Perhaps you want to look at addressing, right? Are we too much into our comfort and resisting the change and missing opportunities? I truly, truly believe this Queen of Earth card is really asking us to go within. And sometimes by going within, we do need to step outside of our comfort zone, right? The art of going within, the art of working on our shadows, the art of tapping into who we really are isn't always comfortable. And this is how I see it. I actually see people in their full potential. It's just a gift that I have. But quite often to see their potential, what I'm seeing is the shadows and wounds that need to work through in order to get to the potential. And some people think that I'm quite clear-cut and quite direct because I just take no BS, right? It's the same when it comes to my clients and working through their wounds. The reason I have compassion, I don't necessarily have sympathy around you working through your shit and how hard it is. Because I know the gift on the other side and the reward of receiving and really stepping into your gift is so much greater than what is perceived to be the pain point right here, right now. And I think that is truly what this card is all about when it comes to authentic leadership, personal branding, and today's topic. So without further ado, let's step into today's topic. I titled it, Are You Over the Overuse of Authentic Leadership Like Me? Because I am. Right? I'm seeing so many people talk about authentic leadership, how important it is, and talk about how you step into authentic leadership. But I'm like, that's all surface stuff. But true authenticity, again, another overused word on the internet. True authenticity does not come without the shadow work, without the wound, without actually going through all the shit, to get to the other side. And so many people are avoiding the pain because they don't want to go through the pain of working through their shadows. But you cannot tap into who you truly are and be authentic if you haven't worked through that. So many people talk about authentic leadership. It's like, just be you. How do you be just you if you don't even know who you are? And it's not as easy as just asking yourself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Who do I want to be? Who do I inspire to be? It's actually asking yourself, what are the wounds? What are the masks? What are the armors that I currently have on? What are the deepest side of me, within me, that I do not want to show other people? And why? What am I truly hidden away from other people? Because that's where the gold nuggets are. Right? For me, for the longest time, I have been so afraid of showing who I truly am because of the wounds that I had in my past. And all of us have wounds. Right? I did a post a while ago describing what wounds are. Wounds are actually not necessarily bad things that happen to us. It's just things that happen to us, and at the time we perceive them as bad. They may not always be bad. It's just how we perceive things. The classic example, there were two twins. Their dad was an alcoholic. One became an alcoholic, just like his dad, and the other one became very successful and very wealthy and never drink. When people ask them why they are who they are, both of them actually had the same answer. Look at my dad. How do you expect me to be any different? So the one that became an alcoholic said, look at my dad, he's an alcoholic. How do you expect my life to be any different? Of course I'm going to be like my dad. The other one went, well, look at my dad, he's an alcoholic. How would my life be any different? Of course I'm not going to be an alcoholic like my dad. He's showing me what not to do. Why would I do it? See, same situation. Some people may perceive that as negative. Might be. Some people may not. Right? Just depends on what environment you are in. So wounds doesn't necessarily mean that bad things happen to you. You could have like the best childhood and you still have situations where you perceive them as wound and you reacted in a different way. Like I had plenty of wounds when I first started my personal development journey. But did I came from a horrible childhood? No. I probably came from, I would say, a very loving family, a very normal and loving family. My parents had their wounds that got passed down to me for sure. And I have other wounds that I decided to add to my repertoire. For the past 10 years, I've been working on the different ways, learning the different modality to help myself remove those wounds and help others remove those wounds. And what really annoying me about the online community is there's so many people that just thinks you can talk about just be you and not knowing how we can help others find their gift hidden beneath their wounds, right? And I think the reason that's really peed me off about the overuse of authenticity, authentic leadership, and authentic personal branding is that I don't believe you can be authentic if you haven't worked through the pains. If you don't know who you truly are, if you haven't worked through the wound and really tap into your most, and I believe our most authentic self is what I call our inner child. It's the way that we were born to be, the way that we were meant to shine. And for me, the hardest part has always been, I know that I'm a very direct person. I'm the kind of person that really takes no BS for myself and for other people. I expect a lot from people and I expect a lot from myself. But the most difficult thing is I see people and their shadows. And when you try to present your shadows as light, when you try to present your shadows as something else, I see through it and try not to be so direct and hurt others. It's probably one of the hardest things for me. And so for the longest time, I hid away my gift, hid away my light because I don't want to hurt other people. And I got called out. I literally got called out by my mentor over the weekend. She's like, oh, so you just want to be normal? Is it how you want to show George? Is it how you want to be the best example to George? And that hit me really, really hard. And this is the other thing about being authentic. There's different layers to it. It's the same thing with personal development. When you think you got to the bottom of it, there's more. There's always more. It's like a never-ending pit. And that's why I always call it a rabbit hole, right? You just go deeper and deeper and deeper. And every time you go deeper, you discover another layer of yourself that is stronger, that's more powerful, that is more amazing. And you discover more gift that you're meant to bring to the world. So I think a lot of the leaders, a lot of the coaches, mentors online are talking about authentic leadership right now, but they don't actually know how to tap into people's real authenticness. It's all surface level because, and so what I truly believe, there are too many chicken shits in this world. There are too many of us that doesn't want to face the truth. There are too many of us that are scared to be hurt because there are too many of us grew up in this insulated bubble where we're too protected. And that's what this card that I pulled out today is really all about. We're too much in our comfort. They were not willing to get out of our comfort zone in order to tap into our true authenticness. So then what happens? We see all these fake people, like zombies and clones of other people walking on this planet. We're all just duplications of other people because we're too afraid to tap into it, understand and know who we really are. But, this is what I'm going to say to you. If this podcast, this live is triggering you in any way, maybe it is your time. Maybe this is your call, right? Because it is so important to tap into your authenticness right here, right now. You know why? Now, I'm not saying go and follow all the other people that are overusing and I believe using authenticity in the wrong way. What I'm saying is you really need to get over it. Get over your own whatever it is that's stopping you from exploring who you really are and really truly tap into your authenticity right here, right now. Now more than ever. And this is why. If you go and Google LendLease, LendLease, it's one of the biggest Australia construction company. It's actually listed on the trade exchange or AX 200, OSX. So it's the Australian exchange. So it's a listed company in Australia. It's actually a global company. It's got in the east coast of in the east coast of US. They've got I'm pretty sure they've got Singapore. They've got London or UK, and then they've got Europe. Right. So news at the end of last week, they have now sold the East Coast business in the US to another company, and they're essentially not doing business in the US anymore. And they will starting to pull back their operation in the UK and in Europe. They haven't talked about any Asia operations. I've got a feeling they probably don't have a lot in Asia recent years. And they're really just going to focus back on the Australian market. What does that mean? It means a couple of things. What we thought was the worst of the construction recession, the trouble in the construction industry here in Australia is about to get worse. In Australia, you will know, and if you're a regular listener to this podcast, you will know the Australian construction industry is really suffering. There's a lot of builders collapsing, especially the smaller builders. And a lot of construction companies happen to start moving really quickly and adjusting and changing the way that they operate. Because of the inflation, because of price rise in material, because of new IR rules that are going to drive labor cost through the roof. Because of a myriad of reasons, construction cost is no longer as affordable as what it was. And the truth is, for the average mum and dads, housing affordability is also going to go out the roof as well. So in terms of a financial struggle, financial turmoil, we've got a while to go before we really hit rock bottom. We're not there yet, right? But what that also means is in the construction industry right here, right now, you're going to see more people losing their jobs. The hiring market or recruitment market is quiet at the moment. There's not a lot of roles around, but there are a lot of people looking for work, and it's about to get worse. What does that mean? It means if you're a clone of somebody, if you're just an ordinary Joe Block next door, if you are, I'm trying not to be racist or sexist here, or if you're a female in the industry and you pretty much get by being like anyone else, just do your job, go to your 9 to 5, do the bare minimum. Compared to if you're somebody that knows, that's been working on your personal brand, that's been working on your authenticity, you know what you're about, you know what you specialize in, you know what you could bring to the table, not the same as the person next to you, and you know how to promote that. You know how to brand yourself, you know how to represent yourself, you know how to put yourself forward in essentially what we call a buyer's market or employees market right here, right now. Who do you think would be more successful in an interview? Who do you think would be more successful in job opportunities? Because this is what everybody's looking for right now. Actually, let's go back a few years ago. It was an employees market where every employer is scrambling to find people because we have so much work out there. They jack up the price for everybody. So essentially, even up until last year, the attrition rate in our industry was horrendous. Everybody's losing people to their competitors because everyone was willing to offer more above the market rate than the next company. This is going to change very quickly, and you will be seeing it very quickly. Now, people want to hire the top dogs, right? It's no longer a price war. It's now a skills war. And you need to work out why you are the top dog and why you stand out compared to Joe Block next door. And this is what's going to happen now. When you can stand out and people see your value through what you do, through your brand, through what you represent, you're no longer going to see people advertising jobs, okay? We're now going into a phase of tapping on the shoulders. People will start looking for people through who they know, what they know, and start tapping on shoulders to offer you jobs that you can't even see on the market. Because the market is so saturated with like overrated CVs and whatnot. They've gone through that in the past 2 years, right? It's hard work. it's tough work and you still don't know. So word of mouth, referrals are going to be the new trend. And what works well in referrals and word of mouth? People who stand out, truly stand out authentically, people who knows their worth, people who can demonstrate their worth, people who has demonstrated their worth through the work that they do, through the relationship that they have built, through the authority they have built in the field. But you cannot build authority if you don't know who you are and what you specialize in and what you can bring forward to the table. So this is what I think we really need to turn this whole thing about authentic leadership and personal branding upside down. You need to know who you are, truly know who you are. By going through your wounds, working through your wounds are your superpowers, right? You cannot not work through your wounds and trying to get to your superpowers. It just doesn't happen that way. Diamonds in the rough, remember? And I think this is why it's so important to, when you look for coaches and mentors, look for somebody who has worked through their shit in the way that they talk, in the way that they do things, somebody who can help you work through it. It doesn't have to be through me. You know, I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but you want to find somebody, there's no bullshit. You cannot bullshit your way through personal development, through inner work, through healing. You can't, right? And there's no point paying big dollars for coaches and mentors to help you with your authenticity and personal brand if they can't help you with that. If they're just going to give you some fluff and be all soft and gentle and go, it's okay about it, you're not going to get breakthroughs. We've been wrapped around in cotton candies, in bubble wraps long enough. Now is not the time. Now is truly the time to toughen up, to build a strong relationship with yourself, to know who you are, if you really want to stand out. I mean, if you're happy just doing your ordinary life, then yeah. But I don't believe any of you who's listening to me right now, who's listening to my podcast, who's listening to all of my platforms, are interested in that, right? So if you want to be a leader, if you want to be successful, if you want to create a legacy, this is your call. Stand up, face your wound, toughen up, or just be ordinary. And that's what I truly believe, right? If you put in the work now, you will be rewarded. At the end of this tough time, you will be rewarded. But if you don't, evolution, you will be phased out. That's just the reality. And you know the most important thing and the biggest benefit in knowing who you are and what you stand for and knowing your brand is that it doesn't matter whether this industry survived, whether, you know, in 10 years' time, whether you still have a job in your specific industry right here, right now, those skills are very likely to be transferable. Because you know who you are, you're likely to be able to go through any challenges and still be able to find the line of work that suits you any day. I know it's a bit of a tough love kind of conversation in this episode, but I think it is important right now. I am seeing so many colleagues of mine struggling, who's stressed and anxious and worried about their future and their livelihood. I'm seeing, you know, companies collapsing, leaving their employees with nowhere to go. And I'm seeing rapid changes and people finding it hard to cope right now. And like I said at the beginning of this podcast, winter is coming, and winter is really the time that we work on our inner perspective. We work on our inner work. And now is the time to regroup within you and really figure out, what do you want to do? What do you want to do in the next 12 months? What do you want to do in the next 5 years? What do you want to do in the next 10 years? It's time to invest in yourself. Time to work out what you really want, who you really are, and what you're really here to do. And if you need some help, ask for help. Whether you ask for help in spirit, you ask for help of a mentor, a coach, or a guide, or you seek help wherever you can. And don't let any materialistic reasons be a reason that stops you on tapping into your fullest potential. That's it for today. And I hope you will find benefits, gifts, messages that you need to hear, right now in this episode. And as per usual, if you have any questions, if you want me to riff on anything beyond the discussions of this episode, please feel free to reach out on Facebook, Instagram, or you can email me. All my contact details are in the show note below. Love you all so, so, so much. And just remember, it may be tough right now to go through your shadows, but there's always greater gift. There's always greater gift on the other side of working through those pain points. Love you all so, so, so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.